So our new stored procedure is insert into something something, right? So let me open and see that. You can see insert into table name, this columns. So that means these are all parameters you have to supply, don't you think? So let's copy paste into our notepad. Always I say your development should start from right hand side to left hand side, isn't it? Extremely right hand side your database is sitting, near to that your repository is sitting, near to that your abstraction is sitting, after that controller is sitting, then view. So in this sequence always you have to go. So our database work is done, that means your stored procedure is done. Next is what? Repository, isn't it? So what I will do, I will just copy paste this function. Then I will change it so that a lot of things I can reuse. I copy pasted it. Now you advise me what are the changes we should do. Should I name this function as InsertStudentData or something? InsertStudentData. When you will develop also in real time, this kind of activity you just adapt. If already one function is there and 70% matching, why not I will copy paste and change it? And think about the return type and input type. My return type will be string. Why? Because something like success, failed, kind of one message I will send, reply. That data saved successfully or data not saved, please try again later. This kind of things I want to return. So string. What about input parameter? It should be whatever your repository student, because if you see your table name is what? Table name is student. Inside that name, marks, grade, result, all these things are sitting. So in repository also you have a class called repository student where roll number, name, course. Acha, I am targeting to some other table, man. It is not student table. I am targeting to student details table, right? Roll number, name and course, that is what our requirement things, right? Roll number, name and course. That means we created two tables. One is student details and one is student. Student was for, old web form approach. But in MVC, I think we are using this table, isn't it? So why not we will create a stored procedure for this table also. I will just create a stored procedure again. And instead of student table, I will say this table. So instead of alter, I will say create procedure student detail data. Okay. If any confusion, raise the hand, I will clarify. So student details is my table name. Inserting the record into that table, I have not yet created any stored procedure. One insert is there, but that is not for our required table, that is for another required table. So here what I have to do, as per my table, I need role, name and course. So name and course is fine. Roll number not required for insert because that is identity column. @course and varchar 100. That means in my table, which is called student details, I have total 3 columns. Out of 3 columns, I am going to insert only name and course. Roll number will automatically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 like that, right? So same thing I will do here also, name and course. Name and course. Square bracket is optional. If you have space in the column name, then only it is mandatory, otherwise you can simply go ahead like this also. So without square bracket also you can give it. So comma @course. Ask me if you got any confusion in this modification. Anybody? I just created one insert query for student details table. Only 2 columns because I have total 3 columns. Roll number is not necessary. It will be automatically incremented. Execute it. That means this is my stored procedure name. I will copy paste this in my notepad, and instead of this 3, I will say my required parameters are these 2 only. Systematically, no need to hurry. First you complete right hand side part, then you come to slowly left hand side towards. Now extremely right hand side, as per my diagram, database is done. Then should I go to repository now? Now come to repository, right? So this stored procedure name should I change? My stored procedure name is this. Go and change it. Just a minute. Yeah. What else changes required? Tell me. Do I need data table, guys? This time not required, right? Acha, line number 53, little bit we have to give one parameter. Which parameter? Na repository student parameter. Absolutely. So already one class is there, so why not I will take that object of that class name itself, stud, something like that. Roll number will be extra here, no problem. Let it be 0, right? Only name and course I will send. Now, if I am deleting this, that means I am deleting the third step, don't you think? This was third step only, na, as per our required, as per our understanding. Total 4 steps. Step number 1 SQL connection, step number 2 SQL command, step number 3 data table, step number 4 SQL data adapter. So if I am deleting step number 3, what will be alternate replacement of that?
Sir, we will pass the parameter com.parameters.
Absolutely. That means now data is flowing from left hand side to right hand side, not that right hand side to left hand side, isn't it? That means not flowing from database to application, but application to database. That's why you have to, our third step will be defining the parameter. Very simple. So com.parameters.add with value within bracket name of the parameter and value of the parameter. Absolutely fine. So those who have practiced radio.net, definitely these things you should be answering. Now tell me from where the value will come and sit into @name. stud.name. Very good. stud.name. Not all students are lazy. Some students are also working. I am proud of them, definitely. And you people will definitely do something, I know. So answer parallelly and practice also parallelly. So line number 2, I will go for this one, @course, right? So @course, and the value will come and sit from stud. This is course. Very good. So should I take this inside try? Reason is sometimes you may expect exception here also. For example, your parameter might be string and you are supplying some other data type, etc. So why not we will take it inside the try block for safer side. But here you will never face any problem. Even if you type here XYZ, exception will not come here. Why? Because it is just initializing, not actually executing. Execution will happen in execute non-query. Now coming down, step number 3 is over for you. Step number 4 also we are deleting here now because our data is not required. Now tell me step number 4 what should be? Open the connection. Very good. My connection object is I think underscore connection. So underscore connection dot open, and then without delaying I will say underscore close, so that you should not forget it. And between open and close we used to do something called execute non-query. Absolutely. So command object dot execute non-query. What is that? This is the one. Now I have told you this execute non-query returns some value, isn't it? Integer. how many records affected, that will be captured here. So I will say n equal to this. Absolutely fine. If it is insert, how many record inserted? If it is update, how many record updated? If it is delete, how many record deleted, and so on. Absolutely fine. Now here for return type, I will do something. I will just create one blank message equal to string.empty. String.empty means store empty value into MSG. It is as similar as open double quote, close double quote. Okay, but this is best practice. String.empty. And what I will do, if everything goes well, then n value will be definitely greater than 1. Don't you think so? So here I will say if n is greater than 0, then please store message as success. Something like this within double quote. Or data saved successfully, something like that sentence you can store. Okay. Else part, I will say failed. Reason may be anything, but I will say failed. And exception part, I will say message equal to some exception. No need to take the technical exception message by ex.message. No need. Reason, your users are non-technical people most of times. User, those who are using the application in the browser side, they don't know what is .NET, what is, some technical message. So it's not being a good idea to pass the exception message to them. Simply say some exception, right? Absolutely fine. So here can I pass that MSG? That means MSG has 3 options now. Either this will display, or this will display, or this will display. So anything I missed, 4 steps done, right? Now abstraction. Who can help me? What should I do for abstraction purpose? First of all, we have to take the prototype of the function and add it into the interface. So copy that, this prototype, and add it into interface. Otherwise it will not be accessible, guys. By default it is hidden. So if you create the object using interface also reference, it will say no, I don't have that. I will show you that also. Imagine you forgotten this. Okay. Now go there and check whether your object is able to call this insert function. Already here repo is there, na? Just for cross checking, suppose I will say repo dot. Have a look. Get all student you are getting, but insert wala function you are not getting. That is what hide and seek. So abstraction says only if required I will give you exposure. Even though definition is there, if that guy doesn't have permission or authorization, I will not give that. So it is as similar as nobody has that permission. Got it or not? Because you have not yet implemented to any of the interface, declare that in any of the interface, that is similar to not giving permission to anybody. So what I will do, I will just put it here so that your abstraction allows now the authorization to use it. So come here. Why should I disturb this function? I will go for another function altogether, isn't it? So public iAction result insert, or I can name it like save data or save student data. You are open to use any name, but I will tell you, as far as CRUD operation is concerned, you can name something starting from CRUD, like create the new data. It doesn't mean that you cannot use anything. Yes, you can use anything. So return view. There will be 2 create function now. One is for get, one is for post. Let me tell you that what is get and post. Coming to notepad. some sound is coming. I will mute all of you and then I will start. Get says getting something from the server to the client. Okay, getting something from the server to the client. When yesterday we were displaying, that is something like getting something from there to here, right? Post says posting something from client to server. That means what? Insert is something to post to the server now from the browser. I am typing that on the browser. That has to be submitted to the server. That is called post. But when I am saying please display on the browser from the database, that is get, obviously. English word is matching, right? Getting something from the database through the server to the browser. Posting something from the browser through the server towards the database. So don't you think first create will be HTTP GET, which will tell me display one blank form at least, so that user will type the data. Second one will be HTTP post. That means now student has already typed the data on the browser. Now you are able to post it. While posting the data, I will collect a repository student information from the screen. And while getting the data, I will get a blank form. This is called skeletal structure of your function. Based on this, your view will be communicating. HTTP GET means display the view. That is called blank view. HTTP post means already user has typed the data and he has clicked the submit button. Now post it. Got it? Now let's call that function here. Which function? Repository function. Already we have an insert function. No? So underscore repo dot insert and pass this stud. I assume that from view we will collect this data and we will pass it. Acha, this insert student data function will be returning also something. What it will return? String. So some success or failure or something. So should I catch that as well? Okay. If you see this, just now we created string as the return type. That means either success word will come or failed word will come or some exception word will come to the controller. Are you all with me? So if I will call this function in line number 56, it will collect the data from the browser. Browser means your view, and roll number will be 0, name and course will be definitely typed there, and that will be supplied to the repository. And repository will take that here, line number 53, and then it will perform all this operation, and finally it will return one word called success, and that will be stored in this MSG. Now here what I will do, I will say if by chance that MSG is success, by chance that MSG is success, I am converting to lower, then checking with success. If by chance that is correct, really success has come from there, then I will redirect. I will redirect to the action named as display student data. Why? Because if I will take to that view again, that action method will fetch and display the updated data. Then I will come to know that acha, just now whatever insert I did, that is really appearing there. Then it will be to understand that yes, my data has been inserted. Else part what I will do? If by chance it will not redirect to that screen, that means really not success, some message need to be shown on the screen. Chalo, when I will go to state management, there is model state, view data, view bag, temp data, lot of things you will learn later. But quickly, just to use one of the data information to be displayed, that is called view bag. Okay, there is something called view bag. Detail idea will get it in next chapter, but you just understand, like in web form we use label, right? lbl.text equal to something something. Here I will say view bag dot something, view bag dot information equal to something like data not saved, try again later. Okay, data not saved, try again later or something. Else part I can do that. That means if not going good, something wrong, either exception or failed, then please display this message. And that message you can also display on the view. We will go to the view, no problem. Now tell me how we can create the view for create. First of all, we have to create a view with the name of CREATE. Previously 2 times you have done it. Now we are creating one more view. So where should I go? We have to go to MVC, under view folder, under student detail folder, you have to create a view. So add view and name that view as create. So click on create and then type the view name. Make sure that this is as equal as your action method name and then say add. So this view is for inserting the data. That view is for displaying the data, isn't it? So for inserting the data, we need 2 text boxes and 1 button. One text box is for name, one text box is for course, and 1 button is for submit. But there we needed only a table. If you see yesterday's program, we needed only a table because we fetch the data and display on the screen. That's it. So segregate everything like this and understand and proceed. No need to take everything at a time, step by step. Okay. So your repository done, database side stored procedure done. Now you are in controller. Controller has also been done. Now you are going to create a view. So this sequence you have to maintain always, guys, in real time project also. Right hand side to left hand side. Yeah, Kumar, you have any question? I have raised the hand.
Yes, we are creating a view in the student folder, right?
Mm-hmm.
So can we create in any other folder and we can
Shared folder you can create because shared folder is one which is for everything, every controller, right? But if you want for specific controller, in that specific controller folder only you have to create the view. Okay.
Suppose if I'm creating a view in home folder
and
it will be reused in here also.
Then everywhere manually you have to write the redirection. Okay. That please go to that folder and then access it. Instead of that, why not we will go and simply say return view. Currently you are saying return view, right? So it will understand my view. Got it or not? If you are saying, no, I am talking about compiler. Compiler will understand that my view. Okay, in line number 67. Imagine your view is not really present in the same folder, then you have to write here within double quote that home slash something like that you have to mention, right? So why manually every time you have to mention? Better na ki same folder only do it. But yeah, if you ask me possible or not, yes, possible. Okay. Now coming to create, this is our newly generated view. What we are going to do here? Always remember, whenever you create a view, first thing you think about line number 1. Okay, line number 1. What it is collecting from controller. Okay, what it is collecting from controller, what is communicating with controller. Now who can answer this question? @model, what should I write here? Not collecting anything, but I will submit also something, isn't it?
Right.
So that also, so it will be I enumerable of student or simply student.
Simply student.
It should be simply student. That is what I was trying to ask. So I enumerable one because list of student that time, isn't it? While displaying, I was displaying list of student. That's why here it is I enumerable. But if it is simply student, that's it. So should I go for a repo student? So copy this and that should be inside this. So first of all, I have to copy the namespace and then copy the repo student. Make sense?
Can we have two models in this view?
Two classes you will not have, one class only, but inside that class you can have two lists also. Okay?
Suppose the data from for
Two
the
tables.
student may be from different.
Understood. So in a wrapper class you can have two lists also, but after all this should be one class. Okay? Inside that you can have two lists also. List of department, list of employee, possible. Okay? So
So
that
it
will be
called from the same repo student class.
correct. Inside the repo student, if you have two list, three list, four list, possible. Multiple list also you can bring it. Focus what we are doing now. Okay. This is not list, this is insert operation. Insert operation means from left hand side data is coming towards right hand side. That means from application data is going towards database. That is important for us. So single object, that means single class, no need for list. That's why I enumerable is absent here. Anybody in the group who has this confusion, ki sir, last class in view you took I enumerable of student or I enumerable of student repo. This class you are saying simply student repo or repo student, not I enumerable. Is there anybody who has that confusion still? Because that is one important point. Okay, so you understood that we are not inserting lot of student at a time, we are inserting one student at a time. That's why it is simply object. If you are inserting two student at a time, five student at a time and so on, then it will be I enumerable of something. Go step by step. Now here you go, body, what should I do? I have to create a form, na? Help me, how can I do a form? Using inside that I have to say helper class, absolutely, begin form and curly bracket open and close. Now tell me, here what should we do? Two text boxes will put, one button will put, don't you think so? Two text boxes for name and course and one button is for submit. Roll number, why we are not inserting anybody?
Primary.
It's a primary key with identity, absolutely. So let's go ahead for two text boxes. I will say name and one text box. So text box, let me tell you, this is new for us. Okay, we as of now we have used table, never used text box, radio button, etc. We used, but we used it in web form, isn't it? In web form, everything is server side code. So that's why ASP colon you are writing there, right? Run article server, etc. But in MVC, nothing is server side. All the controls are client side controls. That means purely HTML. Okay. So either you use directly HTML control or you use HTML helper. HTML helper is more performing comparing to HTML because it's Razor engine. Razor engine understands C# faster than HTML also. That's why what should we use here? HTML helper class for drawing a text box. So @HTML. It's a new thing. That's why focusing more dot. If you start typing text box, it will give you two options. One is called text box, one is called text box for. Remember, important. Same thing we will use for radio button also, drop down also for everything. So one time understanding, it will clear your doubt. When I will go text box, that is called standard way of using HTML helper. If I will go for text box for, this is called strongly coupled of HTML helper. There are 3 types of HTML helper. Let me write that in the notepad, then we will go to implement it. So HTML helpers to draw form controls. Okay. First 4 to 5 class of MVC, guys, it will change your life. Remember, after 10 classes, you are scratching your head, but you are not understanding. That is for sure. So first 1 week to 10 days, very, very important in your career. Every day, 8 hours you will work in this area. So make sure you are practicing on the same day. First is standard HTML helpers. That is called, if it is radio button, simply radio button. If it is text box, simply text box. If it is drop down, simply drop down. Okay. So it will be like @HTML, that is must, dot, when you say HTML will be in this syntax, capital letter first, small letter rest of things. Sometimes I use capital for giving more importance, but actual spelling is like this. If I will say simply text box, it will say no model class is linked with this. Imagine I said txt1, for example, it will say no model class is involved with this, not strongly coupled, nothing. But if you say second, which is called strongly coupled HTML helper, then it is something like this, @HTML dot text box. One for will come here. That means for which particular property of the model class you are trying to draw this text box. If I will say some lambda expression here, there is something called lambda expression. Okay, m such that, m dot, m xyz, anything you can take, doesn't matter. Okay, so I said m such that m dot name, that indicates inside our model class there is a property called name. This text box is meant for that only. While taking the data from controller to the view, it will take that property data as well as while submitting the button also, it will take and store into that property of the object of the repository student. That's why this time what I'm using text box for. Why? Because it's a strongly coupled view for the model. So imagine student, I will say st such that st dot name. What does it mean? Whatever you are typing in this text box, sorry, I made it text area, it should be text box actually. Never type it, take it from IntelliSense. I'm trying to say here, please draw a text box, and that text box should be strongly coupled with this name property of the repo student class. That means it is easy to understand. If I will take the object of repo student, line number 54, inside this automatically it will plug it. But if I will write something else like this, imagine I will not write text box for, simply I will write text box. Okay, little I am taking some extra time, but understand it carefully. Suppose I have said T1. Okay, I said T1. This T1 will not be part of this, guys, STUD. Why so? Because the text box is not strongly coupled text box now. It is independent text box. So if independent text box, then you have to collect the data like this, string T1. It should be exactly same spelling as your T1 here. That is called ID of that text box. When we will render it, you means your compiler will render it, it will give input, type equal to text, ID equal to T1, name equal to T1, like that it will give. So, if you are going for standard text box, standard radio button, standard drop down, that means only this word without FOR for, that indicates it's an independent control and no model class can collect it. But if you are going for this category, that means you are saying all my text box, drop down, radio button, checkbox list, whatever it is, everything should be indicating to one of the property of my model class. So here also should I do Control Z? Same thing should I do for the other text box, which is for course. So here I will say course, and here I will say st such that st dot course. One more also there guys here, like I said two na, one is called templated HTML helper. Templated means even better than strongly, not better but little advanced feature you can say. HTML dot editor for, know the difference between text box for and editor for. Acha, editor means also text box na, where you can type the data, edit the data. But if you are writing editor for, what additional benefit you will get is same thing. Suppose I will write m.Name. What additional benefit you will get in this over this is, it will check the data type. Imagine this is related to something called roll number, for example. Now it will check the data type. What data type is it? Numeric, integer. So it will draw a text box of integer type only. You cannot type ABCD, you cannot type special character. It is like a restriction for something good. So suppose it is something called a result, pass or fail, true or false, is pass, for example. True or false, automatically it will understand, it will draw a checkbox. Okay, tick mark for pass, not ticking means fail. So based on the data type, if you want to draw a special type of control, sometimes only numeric text box, sometimes checkbox, sometimes radio button, sometimes only decimal things, sometimes only date and time things. Imagine I have a property called JoinDate. Okay. Now JoinDate is date time data type. So automatically it will draw a calendar near to that property. It will understand that why it is a date time, I will use one calendar. So anything special based on the data type, then this. So anything special consideration based on data type, then this. When we will go for strongly coupled, if the control means it may be text box, it may be checkbox, it may be radio button, it may be anything. If the control data should be strongly coupled with a property means that getSet property of model class, then you should go for this. And when we will go for standard one, when there is no model binding mentioned at the top of view, you will say that why this is just hard coded view, no model is related with this, simply one paragraph I have to type and one text box data I have to take to controller. That means no model is representing that. Simply you are typing also T1, collecting here also T1, string T1 like that. So that time you are going for the standard. So when there is no model binding mentioned at the top of the view and data are collected from view to controller with the help of string parameters. That is called query string parameters, remember. String is data type definitely, but that variety is called query string parameter. So if that is the case, then you can go for this. Very rarely we use standard, but most of times we use strongly coupled, and sometimes when some validation also required along with the data, we may use template type also. Now let's go to this. If you understood that concept, then easily you can say that these two test bugs are going to be put the data into object of this repository student. Now what I will do, I will give 5 more minutes we will take and we will finish this flow. Should I go for one submit button? So input type equal to submit and ID equal to btn submit and name equal to btn submit, value equal to submit or save, whatever. Now let's put a breakpoint here, and what we'll do, first let's come to this index page. Okay, let's come to this index page only. Index page or display page, something we have created on display something, right? So where is that? Display student data, this one, right? So in controller, what I will do, I want first it should come to here, let it go to the display page, and in display page either bottom or top somewhere here I will do something, add the action link. If you want, you can put it inside the form also, doesn't matter. Instead of outside form, why not we will put inside form. So I will say some horizontal line or something, and here one more break line, and I will say @HTML dot action link. So everything that we are doing is new for you. Understand this action link also. This is called hyperlink in HTML helper. Okay, in MVC HTML helper, this is called hyperlink. I will say click here to visit or to create new student. Make sense? That is sentence, hyperlink sentence. Then I will tell, acha, if somebody is clicking this, please visit to create action method. If by chance it is available in some other controller, some other folder, like 5-10 minutes back, some student was asking, if that view is available in home controller, then what? You know, that time you are bound to give the controller name also. If which folder it is available in home, go for home. But actually it is not. Our create is available inside same controller. So no need to give the controller name. As long as same controller, no need to give. My display as well as my create, both are in the same controller, same folder. So simply give create. This line who could not understand? In HTML you use hyperlink, right? Anchor tag hyperlink. Here you use action link basically. First part is what to display, second part is on click of that where to go. Alright. Now it should come here. I will put a breakpoint here, and when it will blank display the blank view called create, then I will fill it. When I will submit the button, it should come here, because that time I am posting the data. First time I am getting the view, second time I am posting the data. Once post the data, that data should collect it here and then go to the repository and then insert it and then display it. So should I display this view inside my create action? Go to view, and somewhere here you just keep some break line and say that inside some h2 @viewbag.info. Okay, that means if you are sending some sentence here, that sentence will display, or if everything goes well, line number 59, it will redirect to display, right? Let me execute it once, then if you have any doubt, you can ask me. So let's run it. First it will go to index action method, so that it will display all the data. Not index action method, display action method. Somewhere here it will come, because you have maintained it as a default action method. So apart from CRUD operation insert, two things extra we saw today, right? One is HTTP GET versus HTTP POST. One is HTML helpers categories, what is difference, and so on. So let's continue this. So it is supposed to display the result on the screen, and extremely below I wrote click here to go to the create action method. So simply I will click here, means it will go to create action method HTTP GET, because that is one GET operation na. GET operation, why? Because I am getting the page from the server to the browser. First of all, page display should be there na. After that only I will type. So it is HTTP GET. Nothing to display. That's why return view. Absolutely fine. It return. This is our create action method and create view. I typed some name. Suppose I will say something like Abhijit, and course I said MCA, for example. Click on submit. If you click on submit, it is a post operation, of course, isn't it? So moment you click up submit, it will come to post operation, means HTTP post operation. Check it out here. You will get the data. Why roll number is 0? Because the integer default is 0 na. I have not supplied, means it will be 0. But strongly coupled HTML helper text box already allowed me to put this data into object of that class. Absolutely fine. So that means it came here, and I can see course and name, and that I will supply it to the repository. Come to repository, F11, F10, 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 and proceed. If anything missing, we will get the exception, and if everything goes well, it will come to success. That means our data has been inserted. So it will come back to the controller, and then it will get success. This time I am pressing F10, 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 guys. Okay. So line number 59, where it will take? It will take to the display again. That means inserted data happened. Now can you please display it? It will say yes, I will display it. No problem. So it is displaying recently inserted data of Abhijit as well. So click on hyperlink HTTP GET, click on submit button HTTP post. Okay. So these are few things you have to additionally remember. It is a post operation, and that is a GET operation. Hyperlink is always GET operation, and submitting button is always post operation, because that time we are posting the data to the server, right? So I will stop the recording, then you can ask me the doubts if any.